Yeah, I can't play it very well when I'm sort of just holding it without a strap. But anyway, this is an exciting video because this is a brand new model for this channel and for me personally. You may remember Greco guitars. Let me show you the headstock on this, G-R-E-C-O. And you will remember that they cropped up in the 70s and 80s quite a lot, and you can still find the older ones knocking around on eBay and Reverb these days. And they're a Japanese company. A lot of their older guitars are made in Japan. I think some of the newer ones are made in China and Indonesia, but they are a Japanese company. And from my little bit of study about them, their work was so good and their guitars were so desired, and maybe some of you can fill me in more on this, that they were actually used as Fender Japan for quite a few years. When the Fender line was being manufactured out of Japan, it was actually the Greco people that were manufacturing those Fender instruments. So they have a great reputation. They make good guitars. These recent ones are it says made in China on here. These recent ones are the reboot, and this is the GAL30PG. This is the NAT, the natural finish version of that particular guitar. Solid spruce tops, sapele mahogany back and sides. Just a really nice auditorium, nice thin waist, beautiful shaping, very clean, no frills, just one piece of sapele mahogany with the cream binding. Very, very simple cream rosette, beautiful rosewood board on it, black face headstock. This is the natural version. Let me show you the Sunburst version. I'm just checking a couple of these out. I have a source for these. I may get more. This is their Sunburst version, sort of a very high, not a tobacco, but definitely a reddish sunburst on this. Same specs, solid spruce top. There's the mahogany back and sides. Nice sound, nice projection on these. Got a really good volume for these, considering they're slightly smaller body guitars. Nice resonant tops. It is a gloss finish, but they do have a nice spectrum of sound. And these ones come with looks like you can plug into this jack, doesn't it? I'll have to check that out. I don't see any controls anywhere. It might just have some sort of passive system on this, or it might just be a hollow strap button. This is the GAL30PG CSB for Sunburst. These are Greco guitars. I wanted to show these because a lot of guitar companies that were well known from vintage periods, like Echo in Italy and Greco in Japan, are sort of trying to make comebacks with new lines of instruments, sort of rebooting, rejigging their operations. And these guys have got a good head start because of their reputation for working on the Fender Japanese instruments. And also, a lot of people will tell you back in the 70s that the Greco Strats and Tellies of that particular time were actually superior to the Fender work. So it's all a matter of opinion, but it helps when you have that kind of reputation. And maybe some of you have Greco stories. I've seen used guitars along the way, some in fairly poor condition, some in better condition, but I haven't seen anything from their new line. So this is a nice surprise, kind of Clouson style tuners with the square housing and the white plastic buttons, very classic look. All white trim on this sort of makes the Sunburst stand out. They don't stain the back and side. That's traditional mahogany, but the tops come in, I think, a variation of colors. I think you can get this one in tobacco burst. I think maybe in black as well. So yeah, these are the Greco GAL30PG models. I have one in natural and one in Sunburst. Oh, by the way, these go around the 350, 400 range. So they're not complete budget instruments. They're not super cheap, but they're not high-end either. They are solid top. You probably find these used. I may list them somewhere around 350, 375 on eBay and Reverb with a gig bag. But for the money, there's a lot of guitar here, and I think probably the guitar that it reminds me of the most, but maybe a little higher end than that, was the James Nelligan red. Remember the colored little auditorium guitars I was getting from James Nelligan with the solid tops? I think the finish on these is a little nicer. I think the grain's a little tighter. I think they're slightly more higher end than those, but very similar in look and design and feel and playability. So there's a little analog for you. All right, folks, Greco guitars, they're back. See you next time.